How's it going, guys? It's TacTixHD here, bringing my NHL 2013 season predictions. So basically, guys, just gonna let you know who I think is gonna finish where and why. Not gonna get too in depth with it, but you guys want to know more about my predictions. Let me know, and I'll do a really in-depth video, probably 10-15 minutes long. This one I'm gonna try to keep under 5 minutes. So, anyway, guys, in the West, I'm gonna start with the worst team. That's gonna be the Columbus Blue Jackets this year in 15th. They lost Rick Nash, their best player, and don't really see them doing much better in a competitive conference. 14th, Anaheim. Pretty good team, but just based on the other teams they're going to have to play against, I don't think they're going to do that good this year as well. Perry and Getzlav both possibly leaving, maybe at the trade deadline. Don't see Anaheim doing good, and if they're doing bad, they're definitely probably going to trade one or both of them. 13th, Calgary. Good team, but they're getting older, getting slow. Kiprusoff is going to have a lot of the workload this year, and if anyone gets injured on that team, they really have no one in terms of depth to replace them. 12th, I have Phoenix. I know they did really good last year, won the Pacific Division. But, I just don't see them doing that good this year. They lost Ray Whitney, their highest point getter. They got some McCallick on defense. I think they may have added someone else on defense. But Mike Smith's basically going to have to stand on his head all year to see the Coyotes in the playoffs. 11th, Colorado. Good young team, but not quite there yet. Probably in the next year or two, you'll see them in the playoffs. 10th is Dallas. Made a couple nice acquisitions, Jeremy Yager, Derek Roy, but still don't see them as a playoff team. I see them just on the cusp of it. Ninth, I have Nashville. This was a really hard decision for me, whether or not they're going to make the playoffs or not. They lost Sutter, which is a huge loss. So they lost a couple scoring people in Radulov and Kostitsyn. Even though they had him for half the year, it did help them, I think. And now without those guys, and without Sutter, mainly Sutter, because I know Radulov and Kostitsyn were kind of like bad morale, whatever. But yeah, Nashville in ninth. On eighth, I have Edmonton, kind of my dark horse young team, even though Sports Illustrated predicted them to get third in the West, or sorry, third in the NHL, first in the West. Nowhere near that, but I think they're gonna be a good young team. All their top six forwards are playing hockey during the lockout. Three of them, their top line, all playing on the same team. That's just a huge bonus, especially when all the teams are trying to, get chemistry with all the new guys, get, team plans going. They're gonna be really good right out of the get-go. Seventh, I have Minnesota. I think the additions of Parise and Sutter are gonna help them out a lot, and I think it's just time for them to make the playoffs after finishing, 10th, 11th, 12th the last 3 or 4 years. Sixth, I have Chicago. Good team. Goalie's kind of questionable in Crawford, but definitely a playoff team. Fifth, I have San Jose. Probably this same spot they've had for the last 3 or 4 years. They have pretty much the exact same team. Nothing should change. In fourth, I have Detroit. Some of you might question this with the loss of Lindstrom, but I really think Cromwell can step up, and other guys are going to step up and fill the void. And they still have all the same forwards they've had before. As well, they added a couple guys. Honestly, I don't know why I'm blanking. Samuelson's back, and they also added Tutu for some grit. In third, I have LA winning the Pacific Division. I think they're going to keep going strong after winning the Stanley Cup. Second, I have Vancouver winning Northwest Division. Really good team. Even without Kessler, I think as long as he's back in reasonable time, they should have no problem winning the division. And in first place in the Central Division and first place in the West, I have St. Louis Blues. Really good team, solid throughout. They just added Wade Red, which I think is a really good pickup. Two good goalies. If one doesn't perform, the other can step in. Now, the East guys, in 15th place, I have New York Islanders. Really haven't done anything to impress me in the offseason. Didn't do that good last year. Unfortunately for the Islanders fans, don't think they're going to do that good this year. 14th, I have Montreal. I don't think they're going to see them doing very good. Still, PK hasn't signed a contract. Don't know what's going on there. And if Price isn't healthy or doesn't play amazing, they're not making the playoffs. In 13th, Toronto. Unfortunately, another year, Toronto's going to miss the playoffs. Same team as last year, pretty much. And they're going to have to rely on Reimer huge. And I don't really think Reimer is going to be able to do what everyone needs him to do. 12th is Tampa Bay. A good team. They got Stamkos, but defense is patchwork. They kind of just add a bunch of guys this year, hoping it works. And in goal, they have Lindback, who's been a backup his whole career, so I don't know how he's going to play out. The 11th is New Jersey Devils. Good team, but they lost Parise, their captain, one of their best players. As well, they lost Ponikarovsky and Sikora, who had a good amount of points from them last year. And I really don't know how they're going to score goals this year. 10th, I have Winnipeg. A good team, but I think the shortened season, traveling that whole time is really going to hurt them. Added Jokinen, but still a young team, and I think they're kind of in the same position as Colorado. Probably in a year or two, you'll see them in the playoffs. In ninth place, I have Florida. I know they finished third last year and had a really good run, but I think it might have been half fluke, half luck. And this year, I think they're just going to miss. In eighth, I have Ottawa. Same team as last year. Lost a couple guys, but also a couple young guys have had a year in the NHL, kind of even it out. And I think they're just going to squeak in this year. Seventh, I have Carolina. I think adding Jordan Staal and Alexander Simmons is a huge, huge boost for that team. And if Cam Ward can play well, then I think they're a playoff team. Sixth place, Buffalo. Another team that basically needs their goalie to play well, but Ryan Miller, I think, is going to play well this year. Buffalo is one of the best teams in the league in the second half of last year. And I think if Cody Hodgson, can find his stride in Buffalo, as well, they've added Steve Ott and He's a really strong player, one of the best players in the game in terms of, you know, third line grinder, just getting in the heads of other teammates. So I think Buffalo could be really good this year. Fifth, Philadelphia. Philadelphia is still a really strong team. Only place I really see any weakness is defense. A lot of guys are injured, but if those guys can get healthy, if some young guys can step up, Philly's still a really good team in the East. Fourth, I have Pittsburgh, probably the second best team in the East, but unfortunately they have the Rangers in their division. And Pittsburgh's got Crosby back for the first time at the start of the season healthy, and I think they're just going to tear it up. But their defense also, like Philadelphia, needs some work. Third place in the East, I have Washington. So they're going to win the Southeast Division, and Washington, you know, a really good team, and I think the best team in that division. In second, I have Boston, winning the Northeast, a really good team, and I think, you know, by far the best team in that division, and they should continue to do good even without Tim Thomas. And in first place, I have New York Rangers, same team as last year, minus Anisimov and Dubinsky with Rick Nash, so scoring should be no problem. Defense, they had pretty young guys last year. Those guys have all had a year, so they're going to do even better. And of course, you got the King of New York and Henrik Lundqvist, who I think is just going to have a career year. So those are my prediction, guys. Let me know what you think. Obviously, a lot of you are going to disagree, but I tried to, you know, quickly explain why I made every pick. And like I said, if you enjoyed these, I'll be sure to do an in-depth analysis. Probably spend like a minute on each team, so or about 30 seconds on each team, so it'd be like a 15-minute video. And besides that, guys, hope you're enjoying these videos, my videos, sorry, and stay tuned for more. So have a nice day, guys, and goodbye.